Alrighty, let's get back to the show. How's everybody? We're back. A little bit well, we're working on it. I'm on the water plane. Think I got it most of it nailed down. We're gonna check it out real quick here and then be able to move on, at least back to where we want it. So, I might have to take a quick break. I'm just finishing up the plans. That's what didn't know if I'd get on here in time after I hit the stream button. There's I'm finishing up the plans to move that bed in the morning at 9 o'clock. I'm just waiting for another message to come in, so won't be too long of a break if I have to take one. But other than that, we'll be here. It looks like the evening is pretty free, so I can crank out some hours onto the 16x map and keep on going. So I literally did mess up the files, I think, when I did that whole big export of the map into the waterplane folder. So I brought the waterplane back in and I did check it. It is working and looking good. It's just that one area where I drove down and flooded. I think that's the waterplane for the swamp that's causing that issue, but that's what I want to check out. I just took the collision off that waterplane. The water's still there. But I think I might have had that off in a previous version as well. So we'll checking that out and continue on. Hope I'm coming through out there and everybody can hear me. I noticed a couple questions. Somebody said in the forums that their save game was requiring a new start. You don't have to restart if you grab the latest update of the map. If you have the same map name, that is the big thing. Some people make their own edits. You're going to need to... Big Daddy, welcome back. You're going to need to make sure the map is named the same, and you shouldn't have to restart at all. You should be able to continue your save game, depending on what version you're upgrading to from. It's always best when you're doing my updates to go along with us, so you don't get too far behind, because sometimes there's little tweaks that need to be done to get everything working. But if you're just going from the last, well, anywhere from 3.3 up, you should be good. Let's go over and show you what the water looks like first. Well, let's see if we drown first. That'd be good, because then I can take that road. Yeah. Let's see if it's going to drown me again. That's the biggest thing. When we went down this road over here. And I'm trusting you got that file okay, Quantum 4? Busy on road signs? So, back into 16Xville, which will be my new home for quite some time. So I'm trying to think. Today is Friday the 22nd. So yeah, okay, Christmas Eve is... Oh, I got here and I didn't crash. So, yeah, that one water plane was higher than needed, but our lake is over here. We should be good. I didn't check this one out, but I might as well, seeing as I'm over here. You need a good town name for the town up north. Well, people out there, start throwing out some suggestions. I'll tell you if I like them or not. I know we had some town names in the PV 15 map. We actually had some cool little signs too. There's our lake. That's looking good. All right. I can't remember what those town names were. But anybody has any suggestions? You want to have some input? Now is the time. We have a town to name. In the PV15 V2 2, I think it was, with the different segments and the colored lines around. That was where we put some little town names. It's always kind of fun to revisit, bring back some of the nostalgia stuff from those maps. And I can't remember what those names were, but we had a few of them. I think I have that on my system. Might be able to pull it up in a little bit. Oh, rollover. Oh no, come on. Oh man. Up, time to get a new one. I still got to get that mod. I know. Don't tell me I'm a terrible driver, but I think it's just the color of the vehicle that caused me to roll over. Try this color. Up, text came in. Let me see if I can answer that real quick. And get back to the game here. Go check out our water. I want to see how the bottom of the lake. Now we can't drown in that lake because I took the collision off of it. The swamp. Gold Mountain. Well, this is for Pleasant Valley V3, the names he's looking for. I don't know if there's really a mountain over there. It could be like Golden Valley. Wait, we already got Gold Crest. I think that's what he's going to name the lower one. Let's see. Actually, you could... It's kind of funny, but the town I used to live in was called Pleasant Dale, believe it or not. Pleasantdale. It's a small town. What is a dale anyway? Isn't that somebody Google that. Dale. When there's like a dale, I think at the end it means something. And that might be appropriate. Like a small township within inside Pleasant Valley. Who knows? I think Dale means something. I know that Kill at the end of a town means something. Every place out where I used to live was named Poston Kill, Winans Kill, Cobleskill is out here, and I don't know what Kill means. Valley or Vale? Yeah. So Pleasant Dale, that might actually be kind of interesting. There's our water plane. Back to blue. Looking pretty, except for we've got some floating foliage on it down there. And the river is not done yet, so we'll bring the river in later. But I gotta go back to the swamp and just see how our depth on our swamp is. Oh, an open valley. Ooh, that sounds like it'd be kind of a cool name. Yep, just a thought. Sounds fitting anyway, doesn't it? There you go. I think that'll work out really good. So now we get to see the swamp in all its glory without dirt in it. But check it out. Isn't that pretty? That really, whoa. Well, I can't drown in it anymore, but it really kind of adds a pretty cool look to this corner of the map. So I turned off the collision. You can drive in it. We'll be able to dig our silt out. You can actually look underneath it if you needed to, but we'll fill this in with our silt. And it's looking pretty cool. Wraps right around. Plenty of room to turn around a combine on the end of the field there, and lots of room around it as well. So we'll bring the darker forest ground in the bottom. That'll really darken it up for the swamp. And we've got some pretty cool little areas around it as we build up to, we can actually go around the backside. That's the mountain we put in earlier. Still needs a little bit of cleanup like that edge there, but when we get closer to finishing up around here, planting some trees around this, you can actually go all the way around and get stuck on the backside over here. Pretty dang cool if you ask me. And then you're stuck on the peninsula where you have no choice but to drown yourself to get across and roll over a vehicle. But yeah, I think it's looking pretty good. So we will get back in and continue working on this massive map. All right, where are we now? Not quite there yet. Let's go. Farming sim, shut down. So we've got a pretty good size area up here to put our town in. We will work on that if we need to later, but I'm going to keep figuring out where. There, let me get that highlight off. We count up our fields, see what we've got going on over here. Try to fill in the rest of this area. We've got to finish. There's so much road work and mess through here too. We're getting into some finer details, but I'm going to try to hit some of the major areas around the map still as we're going. Let's try to get it to close in. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 fields currently. Definitely a nice spot for a big one across the street right here, running down the side of our factory. But where is our factory going to be loaded from? We've got train rails, but we don't have a road per se that goes to this factory. So we're going to branch off. Actually, I think this will work good. We'll bring a road right down through this side off the main road to hit these two factories on the opposite side of the railroad. So let's fill in our grass, get rid of our mud. Let's get rid of mud first. Foliage layer dirty. Dirty. Remove dirt, mud. That's gone. Any more down here? I thought there was a couple more spots, but it looks pretty good. We'll paint up some grass with the grass brush. And then we'll be able to put a road in down here. Got to be careful near the factory to make it fit in nicely. A little bit more. There we go. All in all, I think it's coming out pretty darn good. I'm liking it. A lot of different variations throughout the terrain, so it should be pretty interesting when we're all done just sitting back and marveling at all the errors that are in the map. You never know. We'll get them out. We'll get them all taken care of, though. Sometimes it takes a little bit, but nothing like a little extra work. We got to paint up the mountains through here. And get this all filled in anyway. Little bit of rolls in this. Interestingly enough, Pleasant Dale, where I used to live, was right along the Hudson River. So it was kind of a little valley along the Hudson River. So, yeah. It was actually not a wealthy neighborhood by any means, but I had a great view of the river. Sort of just outside the city. Just outside, literally 5 minutes down the road, and I was in the closest city. But it was in an interesting area because 5 minutes up the road and it was in farmland. We had that road thing there. I don't think I'm going to use it, but I left it there. Well, the railroad crossing. I think we'll paint in here for now and run a gravel road. Let's see, gravel, not concrete, gravel for now. Hey JWB, how you doing? So we're gonna bring a gravel road. I need to know about where I want it to go along the edge here. Back to our main road. Whoops, a little bit outside the lines. And fix that up. Actually that doesn't look too bad. Let's see. Went a little too far into that right there. I think I'm going to paint around the lake later too, just so it looks like it's done when we do the overhead view. After we get some more fields and stuff around this farm. Who knows what we're going to do next? It all depends on what I feel like doing, really. We're going to bring in another bridge down here somewhere and probably move that factory a little bit to the left of where I am, if at all possible. When we get there, although the railroad is there, that's part of the reason why it is where it is. Who knows? We might. Oh, we got too many textures in this block. What do we have? Rough dirt. Oh, the concrete. I hate when these happen. Ah, well. Let's bring up some grass. When you run into multiple textures on the same area, I'm going to bring the grass around here a little bit. And we'll have to figure out what I want to do with. I definitely need the dirt in there. So I'm not 100% sure. I might have to change the road to dirt down at this end. Right before we cross the bridge, which I think is probably the best thing to do. I got a reply here. To my message. All right. That probably will be the end. Maybe one more text coming through, but we shall see. Paint, paint, paint. We got some logs in the field still. They're coming out for now. Diddy. Whoops, what did I do? Wrong one. Off. And we'll finish up our bank here. Let's see. I'm thinking we gotta go with our mountain rock. I'm gonna go to about 30 to 90. Add button. and change my brush just a little bit. Start filling in my banks along the river here. Those lily pads are going to come out until a future date because I'm changing the height of this water plane just a little bit. So let's kill those. I could, I suppose, lower them. Bring them in and lower them down. Let's see what we got here. That's a big one. This is actually underwater grass right here. That's supposed to be visible through the water, and now that we have clear water, it will be like so. Move that in just a little bit. Oh, wrong button. So much mountains to paint around here. Now I'm not going to get too far up there because I want a little bit more dirt off of the river itself. And I have it set to a lower threshold for the mountain rock. Through the riverbed. We can leave, that's a little pointy. We don't want it pointy, but I don't mind it sticking up every now and then. We're pretty painted up through here. Let's go a little higher on this side. All right, it's a couple spots, just a couple spots along the edge. But I think it looks pretty cool. I want to lower, what do we got under the water there? Looks like a square of something. Oh, there's a building under here. Might as well pull that out of the river. Looks like part of the greenhouse thing, one of the greenhouse things. Smooth. Just gonna make it so it's not completely blocked off. The water level's lower, so. Was there a bridge there, or we have to put one in? I guess we have to put one in. Thought I put bridges in. Maybe not here. Just bring these through. Gotta make sure the water can flow through the river. It doesn't look quite right if you have a blockade in the middle of a river there. There's one of the bridges. Is it going that? Yep, we're looking good there. All right. Back to add. And yeah, we're gonna have to do a little bit of work around the river still later on, but for now, it's kind of the quick touch to get us through. Let's see about that bridge down here. The rickety, crazy bridge. We'll probably replace this one with something different down here, but I'm going to duplicate this for now just for travel purposes later until we find out what we want to use for bridges. The rickety one looks pretty awesome, but having too many of them on here wouldn't make much sense. I know there's other bridges around, but I'm going to borrow this one. Most of our bridges out there are train bridges right now. Yeah, we need something else for the whatchamacallit road, gravel road over here. But it gives me a starting point. What do we got here? We got some more labels. We're gonna make Quantum 4 put all these back later. So we can delete them for now. Oh, only kidding, Quantum 4. I'm gonna get them out of here though and keep it clean. Because to be honest with you, some of the factories are going to be working differently. Like that all flowers, I think there's only going to be one flower on this map and a couple other products. So clean it up. Make room for a field. All right, let's see. How are we going to put this in here? Oh, we weren't even working on that side yet. We're going to put this one in first. Did I put this bridge in? No, not yet. We got to finish the road down. It's going to have to be dirt. That's all there is to it for now. Switch it over to dirt road. Oh, not mud. Yeah, switch it over to mud road. Oh, that would be make it really interesting for you guys. Can I not get a dirt road in here? Rough dirt? We gotta have rough dirt through there. Replace limit, that's what it is. 0. And we'll transition it later a little bit better. We'll smooth it out. This is where the rickety bridge needs to be. So there'll be a few bridges to cross over here. It's going to be an interesting crossing. I almost need a ruler to figure out where to continue on the other side. We've got, you know, I'm going to leave it at that. We're going to probably bring in something that can go right over the top of the railroad. Start it back a little bit, raise it up, go over the top, and then we'll work on that factory later. I'm thinking that bridge from PV Rivers would be kind of cool, crossing over here. And then having the factory off the side. Maybe the railroad going underneath it. But we'll try it out later. So, field time. Terrain detail mode. Let's get a little bigger. Give us some room away from the road. Have to take a look around and see what other types of bridges I have on here. But one that goes up and over would be ideal. So I can put the railroad underneath it on the other side. Most of the bridges in here are pretty well flat ones, I think. And we'll go a little bit further, not much. Mud, mud, mud. So I guess you could have mud spots in your fields. It's on a different layer, but I don't know how that would be. That would be kind of interesting. Putting mud in your fields, will the crops grow through it? I have no idea. We can do a test. What would it be like to harvest with mud in your fields? Kind of brings back that moving plane theory that we were thinking about. Rainy, make it muddy, and then when it's not rain, we make it back to normal. Although you wouldn't be able to plant the field if there was that object on it. That's true. Some ideas I have are just so great that I end up realizing they're not going to work within the 3 seconds of opening my mouth. You guys are quiet this evening. You're scaring me. You're that in, you're all watching commercials. Let's go get the other side. Sagarit, thank you for the cheers. Thank you for waking me up. A little bit of noise. It's like I'm talking to myself out here. That's not a good sign. You know what they say about people who talk to themselves? Cuckoo. Quantum Force mapping. Yeah, that'll keep you busy. Thanks, Quantum 4. He's making signs. He's got the bug. He's out there doing some map stuff. Quantum 4 is going to take over the PV3 map so I can keep going on the 16X. He's doing a wonderful job. Yeah, we can go a little further. Sure. You're putting down reflecting poles on the sharp road corners. Gotcha. Whoa, we went too far now. I got carried away. We want to be able to turn around at the end of these things, right? Let's go a little bit more. Don't want you falling into the river. Well, not all of you anyway. Maybe a few of you. Right now, it seems like this might be, sadly, my last broadcast before I go. I'm not sure. I'm going to be busy tomorrow for sure. Maybe later tomorrow night. If I can get on, I will. But then I won't be able to be here Sunday. And Sunday is the 24th, Christmas Eve, and I won't be. Yeah, it's right. Why do I feel like Sunday is Christmas? Monday's Christmas, right? Yeah. I have no idea. So yeah, this might be the last broadcast until I get back. So sad. Maybe get in tomorrow night if I can. I'm not sure. My plans could change because we're supposed to have an ice storm tomorrow. I might get stuck here in the daytime. But we'll see when that gets here. A little bit of a steep hill in the middle of that field. Let's see if we can just take some of that down. There's a couple of places over here that a little bit steeper than I would normally allow. One is right through here. Well, we'll be checking it out later. See how bad it is. Did I have grass spot in here? Yep, I missed a spot. And then right through here. And just a little bit right there. You're trying to learn as much as you can see on your phone. Yeah, not a lot you can see on those phones, but this is some pretty basic stuff. We've got a factory there. We're going to come across. I'm going to reposition this factory slab, I think. But we've got room for another pretty good sized field over here. And I'm going to... Here, let's get the field in first. I'm going to come up here, match up with this corner for now. And take a chunk out of here, that's for sure. We're good there. We probably took a little bit too much off. How do we look? It's pretty close. Don't have to be perfect. Head over this way. Oh, I went too far. This one's going to come over quite a ways. Unlike the other one. Almost looks like I missed a spot there, but it's just the distance. How are we doing for space? Not too bad. I think we'll leave that there. I do... Oh yeah, that factory's staying where it is, so that's no biggie. And... Keep heading to the riverbank. Give you enough room to turn around down here. Do do boop. Little by little, the map is filling up with the easy part. But probably the most important part, getting your layout done. Because after you have it done, everything else has to fall into place or you end up redoing some of it. Do I have a green arrow over there? Yeah, I do. Those things will get lost. See if I can click on that and get rid of that for now. Fill in another field. Missed a little spot there. All right, now we've got some rough terrain along this side of the railroad. As you can see, we're gonna go crazy. Not really crazy, just a little bit of crazy through here. We've got a ridge already built in. We'll just make it a little bit interesting. We've got some space to fill in. Did I say there were going to be mountains on this map? Well, I think there's going to be a few. What do we got going on down here? We can leave a little bit of flat space because I might put something down there eventually. Like a road has to come through. So that'll be kind of good right there. The railroad again, we have it raised up right here, you can tell. Replace and lower. Oh, not down there. It actually is dropping downhill right there a little bit. All right, we'll fix that later. But up here, I want to get that edge out. We're pretty good there. Just going to work this in a little. I'm going to smooth out a little. And I'm going to have to raise up there. But I wanted to take out that little ridge. So what railroad work coming soon? All right. We've got some interesting terrain through here, that's for sure. Thanks, Quantum 4, once again. All right, let's get over to bring down my smooth in a little bit here. And I gotta raise this up. Took away a little bit too much of the railroad. I might have to reduce this speed at which, actually the circle and the speed. Circle might do it. Whoa, under the water. Oh yeah. Railroad track is pretty close. We got a little bit of a gap right there. And we're going to try to fix it. And Sagrath, thank you for the cheers. Are you trying to get my attention? Sometimes. I think that last one just did a little too much. We're looking good through there. Pretty darn good to me. All right. Let's get rid of my dirty dirt mud. For now, we're going to go have a mud painting day sometime down the road where we're just going to paint in a whole bunch of mud. Smooth this little section there. And let's paint up a mountain. Add. You know the drill. No replace limit, but slope limit. And why is my silly screen partially off on my other monitor? Come on. It's kind of weird. I enlarge it full screen and it's... That'll work. Here we go with the painting again. So you're going to have some obstacles to drive around in this map, but when you get to the fields, it's going to be relatively flat. So that should be good. Getting to them, that's another story. 250 bits from Quantum 4. Thank you so much. And for all you do, this bud's for you. I hope you guys have a great holiday, really. And I am looking forward to getting back from the trip and sharing with you guys just how it went. I don't know if I'm going to need recovery time or not. Putting a roof on a school in 80+ degree weather for 9 days might need a couple days to recuperate, but we'll get back as soon as we can. I should get myself a bigger circle. I just like to make work for myself. And we've got some mountains coming in. All right, let's get the dirt level fixed up. So now we'll go 25 to 45 with some rough dirt. That changed the look of it pretty quickly, didn't it? Look at that. That's a pretty big slope down here. It's painting in dirt. It goes down into the field. We're going to fix that up. And then from 0 to 25, we'll get our grass in. We can bring that right out. We're going to have to fill in some of the steeper slopes, but just imagine how long it's going to take to put the terrain in here, the bushes and the grass. Oh my gosh. If it takes this long to paint it, you got to be a lot more careful when you're painting grass in. We've got some interesting terrain to mess with. I got to fix all the road over here. In between this road segment that we can bring something into. We'll take that slope limit off so I can just fill this in for now. And all the drawing underneath railroad tracks of gravel. Yeah, that's coming. I got a couple mud spots to get rid of. I might even make a hill more of a mountain down here when we get done. We'll see. But I'm looking at this and saying, man, I don't know if I want to tackle that road, but it makes sense to start doing it and finish this whole area up. It's like the only thing left in here that is really not up to snuff is that this little area right in here through here. So maybe I will. What do we got down here? Nice flat area. We can get rid of that little... Oh, there's a railroad crossing there. We might use that somewhere. That's why I left it. We're going to leave it for now. So, field-wise, we are up to, on this farm, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 township. And technically speaking, there's a huge area over here that I'm not even sure what I'm going to do with yet, in the middle, between these two farms. But we can definitely do something. And there's up here, we're going to put another field on the upper level and one on the lower. That will finish. Oh, we might even end up with, yeah, we're going to work in some more terrain stuff around this edge. But I've got to fill in back here. So we were going to put a road up through. I guess the best thing right now is to get my grass in through here so I can tell where I'm going to bring a road through. Let's go 0 to 20 with grass. See where my rolls are in the terrain, so I know where I'm going to work through here. We're going to smooth out somewhere, probably right over here. It's a little bit lower to go up to the top, or maybe over here, wherever it's the thinnest. We're going to get up there. Definitely, probably the most difficult farm to run over here because of all the rolls throughout the fields, but it shouldn't be too bad. And if we have something that's impossible, we'll fix it. But let's get close to the edge of my factory. Is that a factory? Yes. I'm gonna take off my slope limit now. For now. So I can fill in this little bit. We'll do some smoothing later. Because this is one hilly mess. Not too bad, but we'll put a field up here and then see how bad it is. For how much smoothing I have to do. Try to fill in around the whole water. Look at the factory back here is even on a slant just slightly. Whoops. Whoops, number 20. It's just like a little pond over here. How are we looking? Not too bad. And this end is really where it gets tricky. Let's see if I can work some of this out right now. Smooth, please. We've got the railroad tracks and the factory and everything to contend with down here. The roads. That is actually, I don't want to do that. I want the slab to be flat. So let me see how I'm going to work this out. Let me get the ground level. Replace. Square. Work a lot smaller than that. For now. Whoa. Thought I was on replace. I am. Did I not get... There. We're going to cut back away from here. So we'll have this nice lovely ridge that's going to come through there. We've got the railroad, so, and it's coming down a hill, so I'm going to leave a little bit of room. Yeah, a little bit better. You are going to have a cliff, which may end up being a mountain someday. This is all the fun. This whole road needs to be worked on from the top part all the way down. But this here ridge is going to be interesting, to say the least. All right. I am going to paint the grass in. And fill it up for now. Then we'll paint the ridge in. Afterwards. I went out of lines. We should set up a shared Google Drive or something, you know. I've got so many shares going on, but yeah, we should at some point. It would be handy. We've got a factory entrance right there to bring through off of that road somehow, so we got to work that in. And a lot to fix up over here. But for now, we're just gonna get some grass and then work it out. All right, I'm gonna paint in this in a minute with the rock ledge. I just want to get the whole thing covered so I can see where the rock's gonna be. But I think I'm gonna have to do the road work first because so much of this terrain up around that road is gonna change as I go down the hill. All this through here, look at that. We've got that railroad running, but all this road is just a mess. All the way, well, it looks good right there. Let me see how I want to fill this up. This, it's cool, but yeah, it needs work. This piece looks like it's going downhill right about here. I'm gonna try to bring down these values and just bring up the road a little bit and then go back and do my smoothing thing. Get this edge covered up. We're going downhill over here, so it makes it tricky. And you got the railroad squeaking through underneath the pass. So we got to be careful there. Not to mess with the railroad. Don't mess with the railroad. All right. Easier to work on these with the round brush, usually. Just to get some of that edge away with, we went down. See how fast that went down? Put some more over on the side. Bring it back a little further. And keep repeating till you have the road where you want it. And I don't want it that low. I think if, for me, I want to speed it up a little bit. Put a little more further away. This is probably one of my least favorite things to do because it's time consuming, but it's worth the time. If you're using prepared roads like this, getting them the edges is not fun. But when it's done, that little extra time put in it like that makes it look so much better and easier to drive on. And just keep working our way down the hill. And if you get like it is right here, pulling away too far, too low, I know I've mentioned this before, but if you add back further away from the road until it's covering the road, but back in here, it won't pull it down as fast up near the road. So when I'm smoothing in here, if you need it to go faster, you just move back in here and lower it a little bit, and eventually it'll just creep out. Now sometimes it goes too fast still, like right up in here. So you gotta go over it again till you get it right. Ah, that one's a pain in the butt. Let's add more in. back here. And then a little bit there. There. That one's good, pretty good there. But we got to keep working it down through here. And go all the way through this whole section. Yikes. It takes patience sometimes to do these things. And if you don't have it, sometimes you're better off coming back when you do. Just a warning. Because if you try to go too fast, it just messes it, keeps messing it up. I'm getting there, but sometimes a dot in the middle underneath the road works to help bring down. But you see how much nicer that road looks coming through there? We got a lot of landscape in here that we're going to have to do a little bit of work to, but I'm building it up later once we get away from the roads. Will be pretty easy. Add some detail through there. The bridge areas are tough down here, where you get the road crossings. But we got to keep it so we don't go in the railroad through the tunnel. Don't fill in your tunnels. Be very careful near your tunnel, or you end up with a mess. Come on, a little more. I think we did pretty good right through there. I can live with little dips, but the big ones that were here, not quite as appealing as there. That's pretty good. That looks really good to that point. One side of that road, the railroad is he got it touching the ground? Yeah, it's pretty close all the way through there. And we've got another railroad coming through here. So definitely gonna have to paint through this basin. There's actually the railroad's a little bit underground right there. Fun stuff. We'll fix that up in a little bit. Let me just kind of try to finish off this area a little bit nicer looking. I'm gonna come in here with my add brush and just build this up into a mound, but carefully, just to get the divots out of the ground that are in here that people will be getting stuck in. You see how it drops off and then goes back up? I'm going to fill it in. We can go a little bit bigger, but I don't want to mess with the road I just fixed. So I got to be careful. And you don't want to mess with the railroad on the other side. So it's a little bit of a take some time and get it right. And we can bring it down through. We're going to repaint this whole area very soon too, so we can kind of get an idea. I got to do the upper road through here. It's a little bit messy. See how much edge is showing. So we'll bring that up. Same way. Try to not mess up my railroad right there in the process. So it'll be a little bit more difficult on that side. Than it is here. Till we get a little room. All right, let's see if we can take some of that down. I honestly didn't think I'd be over here doing this today, but I just go wherever the map takes me for that day. Whatever I feel like. And I feel like just working this area quite a bit. It's the worst area as far as landscaping goes in the whole map. It's going to be probably one of the best looking areas when we're done because of all the terrain height changes. But there's a lot of road work and bridge work and all that stuff in this whole corner of the map. That's going to take a little time. So we'll work on a little bit of it anyway. And then we'll repaint it once we have the terrain heights set. Now, same way, if you can't get, you might have to take a divot out of it and back there to get it to pull away from the road. Bring the height down further away. And sometimes you get too far. Fill it back in this way. We're getting there. I'm not liking the bridge, but it's Actually, that side didn't come out too bad. Pretty fast. It's right through here. It's gonna be a little bit of a work. Pull it back. Come on. Move off the... That works. I think that's pretty good. What do we got there? Oh, look at that. It's a little spike. Ha. I think there's a little bit of a drop right here. I don't know if I can... Can I do a square? No, square is not exactly square here. It's tough because you're racing underneath to get... I'm making it worse than I did before. Than it was. Now I got extra work to do. I think it looked better before. Here, I wonder how far I can back up the delete button. I think I was much closer right there. Yeah. Let me get a really, really small circle. Try this. I'm not going to worry about it. It's pretty close. For that side of the bridge. Add. Work our terrain up a little bit here. Make it into a mountain. And we've got a factory over here, so we can literally... Let me get big speed. I need speed. How about I miss my railroad up? Nope, I think we're good. Off the edge of the world. Alright, let's paint through this section anyway and see what if it can get it to look any better. 4590 rock. Not 452, but 45. Mountain rock. We'll do that first. And especially on the middle section here. We still dip down really good there. I don't like that. Hi-ya-yo-ya-ha. Right through here. Let me see if I can pull that up. I don't want to drop down before we go into our mountain. Or our hill. I don't know if this is exactly a mountain, but it's gonna be a hill. That's pretty good. It drops a little bit right here. Memolar is here. Hey, Memolar, I'm awake. I'm just moving along here. Just barely awake. Trying to get a little bit done here before we go away. Not a lot of us awake out here. I put everybody to sleep. Alright, so I gotta redo the whole area. So we'll paint this through here too for now. And then we're going to take the dirt from, I don't have grass up here in this section, so I'm going to go to 0 to 45 with the rough dirt, and that'll clear out all our areas that are flat around our railroad tracks. As well as some of the other places where we can paint in. Yeah, there's a divot in the railroad track right there. Do you guys see that? How deep that is? But we got to fix all this up through here. And I did not put that there. So these the terrain from this I think was that way in the Corn Belt map. I'm not sure. I never really played the Corn Belt map. Let me smooth it first. Add a little bit. Well, a lot of bit unless I slow it down. That worked out pretty good. And smooth. That works for there. Bring my dirt back in through here. I think we're looking. Did I hit this with rock? It doesn't look like. It looks like there's more dirt through here than there should be. Because it looks steeper. No, yeah, a little bit of mist there. Not too bad. All right. We're going to take a look at all that a little bit later when we get in the map. And we've got all this road, this whole hill, all the way around. We just finished up to the bridge, but that's a pretty good segment that we got winding through here. We got to get back to Mr. Field over here. I got to figure out where I want to put a road up to that. And where do we have a road back here? Do we have any roads coming? We got to bring in a road to the front of the factory here. Eventually. Comes right down into here. which will be gravel. And can we do gravel? Oh, replace limits. That's why. And it looks like I might be able to work with a square. And you notice how it's painting even slower? That is because of these values right here. They work for both the paintbrush, and actually if you do replace, you don't even have to worry about those edges. But we're going to have a road coming down through here to our factory. I'll fix up the landscape when I decide to finish up the road in this corner. I'm just trying to figure out right now where I'm gonna bring in, yeah, I gotta fix all this through here, where I'm gonna bring in access to that field. Probably best from over here, right down through here. Bring a road right along the edge of the hill. Let me get some grass painted. Fill it in. Whoa, went the wrong way. I'm gonna fill this in for now. Right through here. Allows me to draw the roads in a little bit easier. Oh, it's been a long day. Another one coming tomorrow. For me, not map making, but got a long day. We'll get a little bit more done here. Then we'll jump in, and I'm going to have to call it a night pretty soon. It's going to be an early morning, but I'll go finish up my fields up here in this corner. So we can call the last, I think that's all we have room for is 2 more on this farm. And it's really filling out pretty good. All right. Then we can drive around it. So I'm going to bring in, let me get around, try to paint up through here. Thank you there, Sagareth, for the cheers. Appreciate it. Thanks for waking everybody up, including me. This will be subject to change later a little bit, but we're going to bring in a road down through. So I'm going to put the grass in so I can see where it goes. And we'll work the terrain out as the time goes. There's still a lot of this edge work with a lot of the dips and stuff that, yeah. But I'm going to try to bring in a road, drop it down through here, run it along this ridge, and then probably straight up through this area. Then, yeah, build a field up there. So let's see if I can do that. We're going to go down to a 4 and We're gonna get some rough dirt, and we're just gonna, let me eyeball it here, right along the ridge here. Oh, that was actually pretty good. I'll drop it down to the lower area. One of those twisty roads. I want to kind of, we're going to clean it up. I'm just kind of sketching it out. We're going to Y it up this way. And wind it down this way along the ridge. And yeah, I think we'll be able to clean them up a little bit and level them out. Smooth my edges out, make it a nicer looking road through here. And we'll work on this drop off. It's kind of turning on the drop off, so I need to bring that a little bit flatter through the drop off area. Maybe bring this down a little bit. That's a little wide there, but let's see how we finish up here. Can't have every road be straight. So some dirt little paths along the terrain are kind of nice to have. This one here is gonna, again, I'm gonna work on the hill just a little bit. Right through here. I just want to bring it down a little. All right. And I'm gonna bring this up to the top layer. Whoops, not with that brush, I'm not. And I'm gonna run my road down this way along the side of the field. That was actually pretty good for doing it so far in the distance. Shouldn't open my mouth. Now I'm doing a crummy job. Let's go to the replace brush. It's easier. My actual editor is lagging for some reason. It doesn't usually do that when I'm painting terrain. Ah. be going back and forth. Like I could tell just a little with cleaning it up. We can do lots. Is everybody awake? Should I? Do I have to fire guns off or something? Is the Logitech Farm Sim controller a must for Farm Sim 17? Well, Tarkin Tech, let me put it this way to you. It's the best part of the steering wheel set. If I could do anything, I would get a different steering wheel and then get this controller. The controller's pretty Is it a must? No. But the quality of the steering wheel compared to other wheels, not nearly as nice. No force feedback and stuff. Kind of a cheap feeling plastic wheel. But the controller itself is kind of cool with all the buttons for... Yeah, I love the controller. I would say get the controller, forget everything else. But that's me. I don't know what other people feel about that, but just my 2 cents on that whole issue. So we're going to work the top field up here first. We've got it kind of closed in. It's kind of hard to see. We've got some room there. Let's start drawing in a field. We'll bring this road down this way too. We kind of square corners to put our field into. And we got more bits coming in from Quantum 4. Thank you, Quantum. All right. We can, yeah, we run it right up a little bit further. We'll figure out what we're going to do on the back side for the road later. But I got to fill in all that. At least I can start my field now. Right up here. Bring in some terrain detail. Whoa. And give us some space to work with. Oh, we got the mud again. Everybody likes the mud. Because we have no terrain detail selected. Try that again. That's better. So it's making it. It's starting to fill in. And it's very abstract. I don't know what word I'm looking for. It's definitely got some shape going on to our landscape. I'm going to run through here. For now, you know how much I love square fields. I know there's a lot of space over there, but this one's going to be square. Read? Hey Dave, what's the camera attribute for? What camera attribute are you speaking of? The camera right here? Is that what you're talking about? Is that what you're looking at? The create camera? Or... And thanks for the auto host there, Care of Johnny, with your viewers. We've been bouncing back and forth a little bit this week. Not sure which camera attribute you're looking at. Is it a user attribute? What are you referring to? Could you be more specific? And I'll try to help you out. I might not know. It's not ringing a bell at this moment. But 16x map, my mind is going numb. The prefab came with a camera user attribute. Did it? Maybe there's a speed camera on it? I did not. Time to go check it out. I didn't mess with it. Now, if it was in the map before, where is that piece? We did do a little bit of, was it on this straightaway right here? So you say this has a camera user attribute somewhere. Ba-ba-ba-bum. There's no idea. But I'm checking. My guess is that it might have a speed cam. Oh, not this one. What prefab are you talking about then? This is the only thing I sent you. Oh, another one you're working on? Well, how am I supposed to know? I don't know what you're working on. What is it? A prefab? It could be a speed camera if you're working on signs or something. I have no idea. I really would have to see it to. And is there a script running off of it, or what's going on? Where the heck am I now? My gosh, the whole map's filling in. I can't even tell where I was. That is the lake right there. Oh, I'm up here. Okay. Yeah, it's kind of hard to tell if I haven't seen what you're working on. No idea, but sometimes you bring in stuff, they'll have a speed camera if you're working on road signs and stuff. Let me paint this grass edge up a little bit better. We're on dirt. That's not going to help. I would have to, what is the piece you brought in? It might have additional functions for speed or for, I don't know. There's so many different uses for the camera. It could be just, if it has just a camera, extra camera node, it's probably for you to just move around the object. Sometimes people leave their own cameras in, if that's what you're referring to. Like I could export and then add a camera so you could work on it individually. Let me see what you're working on. Most likely they just put an extra camera in for when they were working on the map or whatever you're working on there. That would be my guess. I some people do that. So basically, if you're importing something, I'll give you an example in a minute. I don't want to go that far. I'm getting carried away here. We want to be able to do a pretty straight line through here. So taking like that prefab that I sent you for the road sign, for instance. If I went into here and opened up the sign, yep, I think you can remove it. If it's just going to be, see, a lot of people will work on the objects in the editor separately, like here. And there is a perspective camera that's built in, but sometimes people will take the road sign and they'll create an extra camera, and so they can position it in different places. Let me put it right here. I don't have the camera view turned on, but if I turn it so I can move around, yeah, usually a lot of people just do it for additional views. And then you're viewing from the other camera, which is right here. And that way they can jump from different camera views on the object. And the camera will be out in outer space that I was just looking at right there. So if I turn on view, show, I always have them turned off because there's so many around there. There's my extra camera. But chances are, and that will import into the map. So anytime I see a camera when I import something, an extra camera, unless it's something like the cranes or something like that, I usually get rid of them. You don't need them in the map. I have several in the map, as you could see. If I go to outdoor camera, I'm over at the crane. Most of mine are all the crane cameras right here, and the PDA cam, which is looking wonderful, and my regular camera. But the cranes require cameras. Any speed cameras would have something in there, but that's usually what they're for. Got it. Sounds good. I won't harp on it anymore then. No, sometimes I just like to give a really good explanation uh, for everybody that's watching. A little bit of a demo in the middle. That's what I like to do. You guys that are map makers have questions. If you guys have taught me several things right here on the show, and it's kind of cool. It's a great place. I really look at this as, yeah, I've been doing this a long time and I know quite a bit, but I look at it as a great opportunity to learn from you guys and share with you guys and just work together. Thank you so much, Segareth, for the bit. Every bit counts. I can't even begin to tell you the number of times you guys have helped me figure things out on this as well. So live streaming has been an amazing addition to map making. And getting the feedback from you guys with the updates and stuff. Thank you again, Segareth. The feedback that you guys have been jumping in, if there's something wrong, we were able to get to it a lot faster. It's so much easier for me to answer questions and figure out things on the live stream than texting back and forth with you guys for in 20 different messages for 15 days. Just works faster. So it's almost become more of a, believe it or not, this, I didn't know how it was going to go, live streaming, doing the map making all the time, because sometimes it's tough to just schedule time for me. But now it's become one of those things where, if I got to work on the map, I'm going to turn on, for the most part, I'm going to turn on my camera. Yeah, I do a couple little things here and there, but when I'm doing this work, yep, start up the live stream, time to work on the map. So it's been pretty cool. And there we have the upper field will take place, and then we just have one more through here that's going to be interesting because there is some crazy landscape going on through here, and I don't know where or how I want to bring a road system. I almost want to branch it. This is tough. We've got some railroad track that's sticking through right here. Whoa, not anymore it isn't. I just made it a hole in the ground. We'll bring it back up a little. Yeah, we got some work to do. Little floating railroad tracks now. It's either buried or floating. It's never perfect. That ain't bad. Looking good there. A little gap right there. Some weird slanted hill to come through here. Nice. This corner, I love putting factories on corners, but man, the lots are tough to draw in. So we're going to try to figure out a square edge down to the railroad, maybe. Let's see, square concrete. Just to make it look clean. Add brush would help. And almost want to run it this way, but this is tricky. What do you think? Looking relatively straight there, not too bad, I suppose. What I do is, this is where one of those factories that you say, okay, I'm building a wall so they can't see how bad the edge actually looks. Which, it works. I got to do all this road through here, so I'm not too concerned. I just wanted to get the grass coming through over here and kind of fill it in. And I needed to clean up my edges. Yep, put a wall right along the back side of this factory if it looks bad. And oh yeah, it's gonna look bad now. You keep that up, Johnson. Let me get the round one. try this. I'm just never happy with my edges unless they're square for some reason. Oh yeah, we just messed that right up through there. That's good. That's beautiful. We'll come back to you later. Let me put the replace. Can you tell my patience for painting grass is just getting about it for the day? We will finish her up and take a ride and see what it looks like. I'm not even going to mess with that edge right now. We got to bring those together at some point. That's another. That can wait till I get back from my trip and I'm refreshed, actually. Or tomorrow if I'm around at all. Not 100% sure yet. But I wanted to try to get the last field in down below, and I was going to run. Yeah, we'll draw something in. If we got to fix the shape later, at least I'll know about where it's going to be. So the road's coming across. We can start it out about here. Get an idea of where it's going to be. Because I think it's the last field that needs to be drawn in on this farm. Just finished the sugar factory on PV. Filled the sugar cane, no problem. Tried to fill a sugar beet in the unload point and my truck trailer sunk into the ground. Yep, that's a weird one. I never had that happen. It sunk into the ground at that factory. Doesn't that have a cement ground on it? Or something? I can't remember. That makes no sense other than it could have been a glitch. There's no real reason. But yeah, anybody else ever have that happen? You just finished building the sugar factory? Or I'm stumped as usual. Just need the outside edge done. Yeah, that is weird. I've never heard of that happening. But glitches, I think you just had a one-time falling through the earth for some reason. Those happen, I guess. Yeah, I've had that happen. Um, you know what? I almost want to keep extending this field down, but I don't know. I probably should have started it a little further out, but we'll do a little bit of a corner in this one for now. Like I said, this one the shape might change down the road because it's just a weird area. I'm gonna actually bring it over this way. We'll have some terrain work to do down here. But it's coming there. It's coming along. I'm going to cut it off right about here for now. There's a dip. Right here, it's a little rolly. That's going to drive me nuts. I don't like them. I don't like having, because then you go down the field and it misses a tiny piece of the edge. You know, I just can't have it. We don't need it. I don't need the stress in my life for the edge of this field. We've got plenty of room on this map. Now, a lot of people are saying that's nothing, but, and we've have some fields like that, we have in the past, but yeah, I don't want it here. And that's all there is to it. So, I just want a nice rectangular field that goes down this hill and up the other side. For now, and it may expand down into here as I work it, and it may get wider or something, but I'm leaving that for there. I just want to come over here real quick and kind of paint in a lot of this if it's not going to be too much trouble. There's a lot of grass around this. How many fields do we end up with on this piece, I wonder? Grass, paint. And replace. Whoops. Replace. Did we finish them up here? 1, 2, 3, 4. There's a fifth one that's got to be drawn in. Five, yeah. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. That's what I thought. We're going to probably end up with something on this side of the railroad tracks for, or the road for fields later, but I want to just color it in for now, down to the lake edge a little bit. We've got other things that are going to go in some of these gaps at some point. We've got a loading spot right here, 2 railroads, so we'll have some type of train station in right over there for the farm that's sitting right there. But all this area is going to get a field in up here, I'm sure. Let's paint it green so it'll look like that part's done. or a little closer. Till we get back over here on another day. We've got mud to remove. I'm gonna probably end up leveling this area off because I don't know why, but I'm just not a fan of having a dip going. I don't know about you guys. For the railroad to drive through a drop-off area right through the middle of the map doesn't make it easy if you want to cross them, but we'll work on that later. I'm even going to work on the mud later. I'm just doing a quick paint job so when I do my next update of my PDA map, I can kind of see a little bit more what's going on already in the game. What's going where? There's a lot of room left. That's for sure. And I'm going to work the edges some other time. I mean, remember, that island is the size of a single-sized map. Right out there, just about. Or at least the lake is. The lake is at least a single-sized map. So you could probably fit all of Goldcrest Valley right where that island is. Or where the lake. Not the whole island, but the lake. Stranger things have happened. Alright, this is where our city roads are out there. That they gotta be fixed up. We got a couple of every segment of this map. If you're new to the show today, although we didn't get any new followers, I don't think. Uh, Maybe, yeah, we did early on, but I don't know if that was in the first segment or now. But there's four main segments, well, four farm segments to the map. And it's designed so that each one has its own of everything needed, but also its own shops area for each of the segments. So you will be traveling in between towns to sell off stuff. And this shop area is on the back side over here. I'm just doing a quick paint up of around the lake a little bit. We can put beaches in, some fishing. There's going to be stuff around this lake. I'm going to look into fish hatcheries and fishing boats, redoing them on the fabric script, and that type of thing that we had in rivers. Maybe bring in that fish farm. I'll take a look at that. But I want to make the shoreline look like it's got some industry going on around it, and beaches and bikini oh no, I can't do that. But we'll definitely work a lot of that stuff in. The lake is big enough. Hopefully, we can work on the vineyards and put some vineyards out on the island. That remains to be seen. Might bring back, I don't know if you guys used them much, but Rivers, remember the Pepsi machine spawners? Did you guys use those? Did you like those where you deliver the Pepsi machines to the little spots to sell over time? Pepsi, the machines appear and they disappear when they're empty. You got to bring new Pepsi machines out. I thought that was a pretty cool thing. We can bring those back as well, possibly, and then have drop-off spots in each of the zones at some of the little shops to bring in the soda machines, like we did in Rivers. But I'm just curious if that actually started in PV15 V2, I think. Yeah, you use them. I liked them. I thought it was something different. You load up the Pepsi machines and bring them around, get a little bit extra cash. That's one feature that we haven't been able to do. The sell over time stuff was pretty much a UPK thing. Uh, and it allowed us to do the fairgrounds. It allowed us to do the farmers market, and that's how we did the cemetery using some of those. It was just a really cool, useful thing that I wish we had back. I'd love to bring in a large thing like the fairgrounds like we did. That was really a milestone too for us here, was working on that map to get to build the fairgrounds at the end. That was pretty cool. I think that was a turning point once again in the Dadgenet Mod's career of map making. One of the few. But that map was pretty darn cool with all the new stuff. The fairgrounds is a favorite. I don't sleep nights sometimes trying to figure out what we can do to bring fairgrounds and farmers markets type stuff, but I need to. That was a huge thing, but it was awesome the way it built up. I guess we could do a. It might be able to be done, but that's a lot of triggers on a fabric script and filling it up. But yeah, I imagine now that we know how to use the fabric script for building stuff, we might be able to tackle something like that again. I don't know if it can handle it, but it'll be interesting to see. Drop off stuff. We know how to make all the stuff. So we've come a long way. Sometimes those ideas at the time when I first start the maps, it's like no way. But then I think about it, and we've learned so much more, and more tools have become available. I think it actually might be doable now. So we'll look into that when we have the time and when we get a little bit closer to just getting the basics done. That's when I'm going to start sketching out projects to try to get to work on this map, and I would love to do that. You know what else I always wanted to do, but I haven't quite figured out how to do? And just to mix it up a little bit, was a casino. Just so you could go and gamble your hard-earned farm cash and try to make tons somehow. Or you can stay away from the casino. You need to get that last field and you're a few $100s short. take your chances. Try to make an extra mill at the local Pleasant Valley casino. Not that I want to promote gambling or anything like that, but I thought it would be cool. I bet 10,000 wheat to win 20,000. No. Drove you to a goal in the map. Exactly. The goal currently, I guess, on a lot of the maps has been building the factories and getting them all running. But that was something to accomplish. And I don't think we showed you either. I think we left it as a lot of the parts of it as a surprise the first time through. So that's really what set it off, I think. All right, I'm going to save this up so I can see how bad of a paint job I did. And we're going to jump in and take a look at that other section before we go off the air tonight. But definitely the fairgrounds, it was fun to stock up the farmer's market and try to keep that going. Yeah, I'm twirling my mustache. I don't have a mustache. But if I did, I would be twirling it right now. So yeah, the uh, the fairgrounds worked real well with the UPK kit, but it's gonna be a challenge to get something like that to work with a fabric script. It's basically got to run like one huge factory. You wouldn't be able to. It's actually it might work with the. Can does anybody know? Does anybody know if the M factory script? It has some new things. I gotta look up, see if I can find a guide on that thing. I know you can have a trigger accept money. I've seen that, but can you have it pay you money? That was the big thing about the fairgrounds. It would pay you money over time. Getting you cash over time is missing unless the M factory script will allow for it. So that is a mystery. I'm going to shut down, reload, and we'll save again and jump in. So the M Company factory script is a new tool that we have available that we're using, but I don't know enough about it, all the additional features. All right, let's go to where am I going? Desktop. Big Daddy's still alive out there. Probably doing some fishing. I'm not too much alive for much longer, but we're almost there. Playing GTA 5 with the wife. Well, that's a good way to keep your marriage alive, I suppose. Give your wife some GTA time. Maybe if my wife was into computers and video games, I'd still be married. Guess not. I guess I just picked the wrong woman. What's today? Friday. Trying to see if I'm supposed to take my medication tonight or not. So I started it on Saturday, Sunday, no, Monday, yes, Tuesday, no, Wednesday, yes, Thursday, no. Yep, my last pill for typhoid got to be taken. And then tomorrow, nope, Sunday's my next malaria pill. How do you make stuff no clip? What are you actually referring to? No clip. Your clip distance editing? Um, invisible? Uh, there's a visibility setting. What are you trying to do, Quantum 4? Collision? No collision? Um, your light bulbs you can drive through. It's removing collision. I'll show you that in 1 second when we boot up. So that is pretty darn easy. It's in your attributes. You go to the box where it says, well, I'll show you in a minute. Not your user attributes, but your regular attributes, right? So here we are, painted a little bit more green. Let's go back over to your, for instance, the sign, because the sign is a sign of the times. Actually, it won't matter if I change the collision on this piece. Rigid body, just click that off and then it will not have collision. But if you want, you can go to the rigid body section if you leave it on and unhighlight the collision box itself. I usually just turn off the rigid body and then it's good. So that's it. I gotta save this once more with the green grass. I wanted to get some grass around the lake because it now looks like I did something over there. Let's see. View, camera, PDA cam. So we've been working. We got the city back here. This all filled in today. Pretty good. We've got another cell point area that's got to go in here. We're going to have some dirt bog mud racing through this little section up here. And our other town for this place here. And then we just have this middle a couple fields more up in this area. And then this whole middle section is the main city. CJ Wilson 803, thank you for the follow. So as we're saving it up, I can almost tell you what we got. We've got a forest to build in here, so that's going to fill out a little bit more. But we also have a town behind these three factories, and we'll have some more terrain details there. And that is the fields. I think we already got enough. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. If we need to draw in another field over in this side, we could, or somewhere in here. So that's one section. This one here actually is probably going to be the smaller farm because the fields look very small. Even though they're huge, they look so much smaller than the other farms, don't they? It's a crazy thing. Those fields look so small, but they're actually quite big. It's a smaller section of the map, but if you think about it, this whole lake is separate from that area up here. And little town areas. This is a middle section where I really haven't figured out, but we're just working it out. It'll fill in. We are saved. So, yeah, this is the main area that hasn't been touched, but that's going to be our big, like, city area where we're going to bring in all the fuel, seed, fertilizer making, and cool stuff like the racetrack probably make a return if we can handle it in the map. So let's pull this up and see what you have. A non-map question. I have been away from Farm Sim for a bit. I got the updated map and add-ons, but I can't find any videos for the updated maps. For my maps, the videos are all on YouTube, on my YouTube channel down below. You can find a YouTube link. Uh, I'm not sure what other maps you need videos on, but what you're looking for. Are you looking for the default map videos, Guttertown? That's kind of a, yeah, I guess it's not a map making question, but it's a map question. I don't know if anybody have, I'm sure that people have done series when they first came out, but as far as the default maps, yeah, I'm not sure. Oh, 3.3. My map videos. Yeah. Um, in my, let me see if I can point you to them. Let me see what we've got. It's a common question, so I'm going to just jump to my YouTube link that you have down below. We'll do that while we're loading up here. If you scroll down the page and click here, it should bring you to my YouTube site. And I do have to update a lot of this, but if you go to the playlists, just for info, PV17V3, I've tried to sort this. Now the latest videos still have to be uploaded and added to the categories, but in the playlist, if you go to your PV17V3 video list, look at the preview show, little information on the factories, and any of the updates that came along. We've did update shows as well, but the Q&As, these videos will help you to learn the map. The Q&As are when people like you ask me questions and I go through as much as I can figure. The release shows tend to cover a lot about what has come in the map and how to use it as well. So those are the ones that I would focus on. The early release show and the PV3 series right there. Kind of, if you watched all of those, you'd pretty much be up to speed on that. So I hope that helps you out. I'll pull this back over here and we will start up and take a ride to the area we messed with. And eventually, when I get some time, we'll get these. I gotta do a bunch of uploads. I don't think I've done any in the last few days. I apologize. I've been running around like crazy. What is your issue with the sugarcane? Version 3.3 was, you got to get past, I think you got to get 3.4. You're going to want to grab today's 3.6 for the sugarcane to work properly. There's a big issue when they released the sugarcane, and we addressed it in probably 3.4. Was that the sugarcane update 3.4? Does anybody remember? So if you're having an issue, just go, you're going to need to get the latest map update for sugarcane. Most of them are obsolete these days. Since the sugarcane came out, we needed to, Big Daddy made some combines and stuff, but yeah, we needed to. F1 key. Okay, yeah, we can get rid of that. I know how to drive now. So get the latest version. 3.6 was updated today. Oh, the seeder running out way too fast? If that's your issue, that's just the way sugarcane works. It uses a lot of seed, but it gets a lot of yield. You're not going to find any difference with that. That's just the way Giants has it set up. So it is what it is. You can see this is the middle area I'm talking about where we're going to build in more buildings and stuff. This whole area that we haven't touched yet. Still, I like to work from the farms and work out so I can make sure all the fields get done around the farms. Ton of road to work through. Look at all this. These are the edges of the roads I don't like to see. So we got to come through this whole valley and work on this road, but we're coming up to where we've been working. We've got the nice water through there, but we've got the bad water down there still. But this whole valley needs to be reshaped so we're not... It look a little bit better coming through. Hey, it's okay. No, nobody here is an idiot. Everybody's asked the same questions as you. You're just catching up, that's all. A lot of us guys have been... a lot of the people here have already asked the same questions. So, this field is a monster. This is a grass spot in the middle. I'll be fixing those at some point once we get them all. But this is just a small field on the 16X map. No, that's actually one of the bigger ones, but you could tell it's a monster piece of... And there's another grass spot right there that we missed. It's a monster piece of landscape. And this is where we've been working all over here today. There's still a ton of land, as you can see, around these edges that we're going to be decorating this map with. But this whole road section, we're slowly working it out. There's a lot of road terrain fixing to do around this road. So I've been kind of steering away from it just to get the fields in. This is the sheep farm area, which will be surrounded with... So this guy's probably going to be doing a lot of silt. That's... Every area in the map has its own little specialty type of thing that that person can operate if they so choose, or depending on how you want to run it. But the sheep farmer guy has the whole silt industry in his backyard, and we'll be shipping it out to fertilizer plants near you because that whole swamp is looking pretty cool back there. I like it. So we'll get those edges. We still have to bring in the big silos for this farm too. So all in all, he's got his greenhouses. And again, each of the farms has different greenhouses, and we've got a pair of them for each of the farms on this map. So I forget which one this guy has here, but I gotta finish these up. Looks like lettuce, and that's probably going to be turned into mushroom because I'm going to put lettuce on the fields at some point, I think. So they're even subject to change. Looks like the tomato one's there. And they also sometimes have an orchard, like the orchards over here. We're going with a little bit new orchards. As the fruit appear, they will be on the trees. So I'm going to replace the silo. But this just gives you an idea of the size of the farms. They're all pretty big like this with lots of garages, 3 hangars on each one. And as you cross over the street on this one, the whole sheep area is going to be right here. That's all the sheep fencing has to be placed, and we're going to rescale everything up. And I am, yeah, lagging a little bit, but that's because of all the stream stuff. When I'm offline, it goes pretty well. Then each farm has its own BGA. We'll see how it works when we're done. We've still got a lot of optimizing to do on this map. We haven't done any, so I'm not too concerned yet. And then a railroad station's going to be back here. For loading up for that farm. We have a station right in their backyard. And we put in this field today. I think we did this one. Comes down to our factories. There's our Smirnoff plant. So you kind of can see slowly filling in. Now this one was done the other day because it has the cut corner. But we definitely were working on this road. Now that's where I got to fix. Remember I said I'm going to have to worry about this later? Yeah. We're going to be coming down here into the Smirnoff, but not over that big hill. I haven't messed with the road too much this far down. But unsmoothed road edges, you could see the work that has to be done. And then all this hasn't been touched yet down through here. So we're going to fix up this road edge. We've only made it to... Not even this part has been done. We were up other side of this bridge. So you can see all the brown and how uneven it is. But we did this here. We came through and there's a couple dips here and there, but it's a lot better. And that's the mountain we were shaping up. And coming around. We've got the road going down through there. Factory going to be built over there. And this is that side road. So you'll be able to exit. And when we put trees and stuff and fences and whatever, it'll be different. My frame rates are terrible. Oh, I got the editor open in the background too. Never helps. I should have shut that down. So that's that really messed up rolly field that we're going to have to work on a little bit. You can tell just looking at it. There's a lump here and a roll there. I don't know how it's going to harvest. We're going to do some testing when we mark the fields, and if some of these rolls in the fields are too difficult to manage, we'll flatten them out. But I do like to have the terrain changes. I think it should be doable. I wonder if, oh, you know what else? I've got 11 tabs open, I think, on this browser. That especially causes some issues. So let me shut a couple of those down real quick. My Twitch stream, yep, can't have that run. Look at all these things that I got running in the background. Let's close down that, and we can actually close down the map for the evening, and we'll see if we can't close down the streaming stuff, but I can certainly get a few frame rates better without all this stuff open. Sucking up my memory. Steam is running. Yeah. Well, that's always running. OBS. How many folders do I have open? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that panel? Okay, let's see if we're any better. Get some memory back. It might take a few minutes. There is a lot to draw in. And yeah, as we're adding more terrain, hopefully it can handle it. All right. Because we got all the runnings for all the factories. Not all of it, but a lot of it. So that field is the lower one. Is you know what it is? Actually, it does make a difference. We're looking across the map that way. I have to adjust. That's looking across the 16x map with lots of terrain. As we look to this side, a lot of the lag goes away because we're up against this side of the map. So it could be challenging, but we'll see what happens when I am not running everything. I usually don't get this when I'm playing single player. But it's getting worse. I can tell you that much. Big map. So when we're looking from the corners, it could get a little bit tricky. I'll have to do some frame rate tests when I get into the but again, there's so much here that needs to be optimized. When I get back from vacation, once we get the terrain done, we'll go through our first level of optimization. And that's the area that we put in that I don't know what we're going to do with yet either. We might be able to put a road down into here, but it's like a little valley it runs through. So depending on where you're looking, if you're looking a real long way over the map, well, we've got clip distances to adjust on everything. Tons and tons of work to do. Just messing around with the water plane clip distances alone is gonna help out tremendously. My feeling is get it all in and then work it all out. Tough bridge across there. But we're just gonna take a little bit of a ride. You can see it's starting to look like something out here. There's our waterfall. Got to fill in all this area. I don't even know what's going to go over here. Let's see if we can pull it off. You might need a supercomputer. Actually, I get about this much lag when I'm streaming when I'm doing PV3. Just because of everything that's going on. I don't think I've restarted my computer in like 2 weeks either, so I should dump everything, clean it out. Well, I figured like this, in a few days I'm going to be shutting this computer off for a week. Give it a rest. I hope it's I worry sometimes if it's going to start up when I get back. You ever have that happen to you where I go away and it's so used to running that when I get back turning it on, I leave this on 24/7 when I'm home. Even when I go away for like 2 days, I leave it on. Now we're starting to free up a little bit down here. So this is the other farm down here. We've got, you guys want fields? You can't even see the end of this thing. That's how massive this one is. You can see the farm over there in the distance. But that field is almost as far as I can see in every direction. So yeah, that one's going to be a fun one to run. And the farm over here. Now when you see that little stutter, we're probably drawing in a lot of objects as we get close to the edge. I'm not sure if we'll be able to keep, you know, the thing is, as we're building this, things will change because if we need to save resources, sadly, one of the things that will help will be taking away all the outside border mountains if we have to, or at least stretching them out, make them a little bit more blurry. But we got a ton of pieces right around there that have to load in that you can see all the way around the map. Reducing the clip distances so that you're not loading in the ones all the way across the map will help. That stuff will have to come eventually. During all them big mountains on the outside. Some of them don't look so great anyway, but they draw in. We can see the ones entirely across the map, and we can reduce those distances so they're not drawing in every single one all at once, and that'll help tremendously. But I'm trying to see what we can get away with, and then cut back afterwards. Make it look as good as possible, and then see where we want to start saving some resources. Look good and run good, but these are some massive fields. You just drive and drive and drive, and eventually you'll get across them. Yep. We've got some mountains down here that we put in. So that's pretty much this corner. I still think I'm probably going to I might put some beachy sand area down, but I might put some extra salt or sand down in here. But it's not going to be a lot. The main mining area is going to be up across. Just to mix up the terrain, maybe some cactus or a little village in the sand there. But look at all this space. It goes on forever. This might be the biggest farm with the size of the fields over here. Because they literally run. You can't even see the farm. It's way on the other side of that one. These fields are pretty huge. This is Danny's farm on our server because he can handle it. And another road system. So all in all, yeah, we have a lot of flat roads, but they're winding. I mean, there's a lot of hill to the map as well, and a lot of windy roads. We've got some stuff to come in back here. I don't even know how to fill all this area. That's the challenge. How do you fill it up? Bigger fields. Big railroad station right here. That's one thing. Look at all the train tracks coming in. I can't even get across them because their ground's too low. So we got to adjust that out a little bit. But for as much as we saw in the overview, there is a ton of maps still to be drawn in. Thanks again, Sagareth. A big friggin' desert with... I'd love to have cactus. I haven't found any cactus models that we could use. I gotta fix the railroad, but this railroad is gonna be coming through each of the factories. All the factories are just gonna be spread out much more massive. I mean, you can tell by the sheer size of the border that I left for the room here. We got some work. Wow, I didn't even know that ridge was there. But the railroad comes through the backside of all these factories. The road work has to be done there. So that's original size of this factory in that little fenced area. And look at the amount of space we're going to spread it out and rebuild in. Del Monte's going to fill out this whole area, scale it up, try to bring in some extra vehicle garages, but we are going to have to save resources in places. So when we get to that point, we're going to have to see just what we can get away with. Tons and tons and tons of landscape still left, as you can see. Even though that map looks all colored in, the areas in between that look so small are huge. This could be a desert right here. We've probably got more water on here than I've ever put on a map, and still yet we're not lacking for space. There's the bridge down there. There, a bridge. It's a train bridge. Da-da-da. Next to our... What side of the map are we on? Yeah. So it kind of gives you a picture. We're going across the bottom. We've got user glue that's going to come off of here, and that's going to change hops and props. Actually, I might be eliminating those two factories. I've thought about it. But if we do, something else will be popping up there just to make room. We probably might plant hops as a separate crop from hemp. And look at all this undone. That's the bridge I need up there. There's a big mess of land over here needs to be done. So I would like to plant hops as a separate crop from hemp and then eliminate the hops and props factory so we can bring in another factory. But most of this area is the center of the map and needs to be developed. And there's some pretty cool bridges. It's very industrial looking. But right now, when it gets done and we get some more grass painted in and bring in the bushes and stuff, I think you're gonna be surprised at how much it changes the looks of it. Right now it looks very, I don't know, dirty. So yeah, notice how I'm getting closer over here. There is an issue looking across the whole map with frame rate reduction right while I'm streaming. When you're looking at the edge that you're close to, not so bad. That was an issue way back in 13 too, but on the 4X maps. You could get a hold of something on my shoe too for some desert looking items. He is mainly on Giants Discord, or look him up. Henniker Farmers was created, Australian based map. Yeah, yeah, I'd love to do a desert, actual desert on here. It would be kind of cool. So I'll have to check with that, but oh, my FPS is probably in sometimes lower than that with everything. I'm at 20 when I'm this way. I'm up in the 20s with all this other streaming stuff. It's not gonna be, you're not gonna get 60 on this map, that's for sure. But if I turn around and look across the map, we're down really low, but it doesn't drop that far, and there's a lot of work to do. Yeah, down to 6 and 7 going that direction because of all the stuff looking across. And we'll work it out though. We'll have to hit some areas. That's the challenge I'm facing myself with, getting the terrain in here the way I want it. and all the things. The terrain, every time you pull up mountains and hills, it's more triangles to load. So I'm gonna do some experimenting with view distances of the distance terrain as well, and see if we can cut some of that out. I haven't even begun to work with that stuff. Yep, I'm gonna make everybody get a new video card. Now we're gonna be able to run it. I gotta be able to run it. But if you shut everything down that's running in the background, uh, the Twitch stream stuff alone, it clears up pretty good. Not gonna get, oh, unless you, if you want to get 60 frames on a 16x map, yeah, time to go get 4 SLI 1080s all linked together. We've got a pond over here that we were just experimenting with some cattails around the outside. No, we got lots of stuff and lots of mods. I've even got Glance running, for crying out loud, in the background. Some of those things might have to be sacrificed. Oh, I also loaded in the... Do I have it? I think... I don't know if I put it in this folder. I don't think I did. It's in my other game. I downloaded the cat pack to give it a try. Test those excavators. Yeah, MMLR, thanks. Merry Christmas to you as well. And we'll get back here and give you guys an update. I'm just going to finish up the tour of the map for tonight for anybody that hasn't seen what we're working on. And then we're going to be shutting down quite possibly until I get back in around January 7th-ish. I'd get back the 6th. If I'm alive, might make it back on the 7th. Might make it tomorrow. I'm not going to hold that back yet, but we shall see. I don't know yet. It could be the last broadcast until January 7th. Time to get your new graphics card. So, Mining Mountain needs a lot of work still yet, but you'll get the basic idea of coming up here to mine your stone and your... Oh, that was gravel. That's going to be the stone area filled in back there. Woohoo! The roads will have, hopefully, some garages along the edge for equipment and some cool things. Or carved into the side of this mountain. A lot of detailed work to just clean it up a little bit. I've got some big pits. We can have mining mountain races. Then we come over to stone processing up here, which is kind of cool. I love this stone processing, the whole plant just being up here on the side of the mountain. It's kind of a neat thing to be hanging out here up on the, overlooking the whole land down below. We'll see what... Yeah, if you want 60 frames, you're going to need to get a better card. Nobody's going to get 60 frames out of this thing. Actually, I'm running on high. I wonder what would happen. You ever wonder? Want me to give it a test and see what happens if I reduce my quality settings? I might have to in the long run to run this map. Reduce. I'm on everything maxed out, so I'll test it that way. But we've got tons of work to do before I even think of. But it makes me wonder just how much is just landscape-based lag. Triangles drawing in. Wondering also if I can reduce clip distances. There's no reason for us to need to see the landscape entirely across the map like we can right now. It's cool, but it's always foggy anyway. Lakes definitely can be reduced, and you can see I have the water all set to maximum right now, and with all those water planes, they don't need to be seen from, you can't see them anyway unless you're up near them. We'd like the whole water plane to be seen at once from any given area. There's our coal tunnel to fill in. Hey, look. We're in the coal tunnel. But yeah, water plane clip distances are set to maximum and you can't see them. Same way with road pieces. I don't even know what the roads are. We could be loading in. I'll take a quick look before we end this here tonight. We could be loading in every piece of road on the whole entire map right now because I haven't even checked the clip distances on stuff. I know we're loading in every water plane because I did see those. And they definitely can, will give you a, what the heck, I'm going to start loading this up, take a couple minute break while it's loading, and I'll jump in and show you some of the things that maybe we can get a little bit down here. We'll go a little bit longer. I need to ask Santa for a GTX 1080 Ti, 2 or 4 of them. 4 of them. I want 4 linked together. No, actually it's kind of cool that we are not doing, that I don't have the really super graphics card, because if I start to feel it, then most people will. If I get, that's the danger. If you have that 1080 Ti and everything runs at 60 frames a second on for you, then you got that guy with that GTX 660 that he's still running. That's, you're just not going to be able to accommodate Big Daddy. You got to keep yourself a little bit lower than the rest of us. That way, if you get it running good for you, most people will be able to handle it. That's the way I look at it. Or at least get 2 computers. Maybe that's what I need. A supercomputer for map making and another one for testing. My phone is going crazy again. Oh yeah. Big Daddy with some bits. Oh, I was supposed to take a break while I was loading up. I will be back in just a minute. See, that wasn't so long. I gotta respond to this text here. All right. So just to get an idea, I'm curious, but one thing for sure is if I click on a water plane and come down here, we can see it all the way across the map. We don't need to, we just need to be able to see it all the way across the water plane. So if I reduce the clip distance down to, and I don't know if I can do this properly with a water plane. Let me see let's bring her way down to like 500. And what happens if we back up? Yeah, water plane's gonna be kind of tough to do because you can't see it until you're in there, but we'll bring it down to like 3,000 for now. Then we'll check it in game. But I think every single water plane in the map has a super clip distance set, meaning that even though you can't see them, all from, oh, these are only 1,000, these small ones, so you can get away with, those are pretty good. My big ones that we imported are visible. Oh, I've got to run my 16x script here. We can see the whole plane under the map. So it's literally loading that up everywhere you look. And that's what your clip distances are for, to shut those off so we're not loading it up when we're really far away. And several of them, depending on how much, we could probably get away with a couple thousand. We'll do 2 on this one for now. And then there's the one more. We don't need to be loading all of them up at once. There's 2 more actually that are in here. The river ones can even go lower. We'll drop that back to 1,000. And that alone could alleviate quite a bit. I'm just curious on the roads too. There's a million road segments in this map. We'll get the upper water plane. Clip distance knocked down to 1,000. And after we view it, if the water seems to be looking funky, like it's not appearing where we want it, you can see how quick the greenhouses disappear, but yet barns, some of the pieces I could see way back here. We're just going to go around the map when it's done and kind of figure out, do I need to be seeing whatever it is all the way back across the map? And there are some pieces that you can, and some pieces that we can definitely reduce. But the road segments are set, they literally only have to be a few hundred. Yep, they're all right, they're at 500. That's reasonable. So you could see the road disappears. I don't even know if they have to be 500. As long as it appears as we're driving down and you don't see it coming into view, will be pretty good. So they might even be able to be cut down to 300 on the road segments. But definitely, in this swamp area, that's all the small water planes. I'd probably have the big one underneath it. But they're set to 1,000. They could literally be set down to like 500 clip distance. How far can we see it disappear? Yeah, see, you can see that disappear. You don't need to see them. Well, maybe we'll leave that one as out. So the big one over there, the big lake, we should be able to get to disappear too. How far away do we need to see the water? Let me see if we can knock it down. See what happens at 500. All right, so we're over here. We don't need to see the lake. But even with 500, it's drawing in already the whole lake. Or at 1,000, we don't need to see the lake from over here because you're going to be on the ground where you can't see it anyway. So we got to adjust them down to the borders of the area. And I'm pretty sure once you draw in the front edge of it, the whole thing's going to draw in. So something like 500 is still viewable for the lake here on that end. Then we'll go back to the absolute. We got to just figure out where we need to see it. It's down in a hole, but we want to be able to see it just in case across the flat areas. How far away do we got to be? We can see it way back to here. I don't think we even need to see it from here because you're going to be down on the ground. So we could reduce that probably down to 400. And as we're driving up to the lake, it'll appear. But when we're on this side of the map, it's going to not be visible. Won't be able to see it anyway. So yeah, even a 400 clip distance on these will be decent. $400, and I'm just curious how much they are going to cause. We've got 4 of them that are all drawing in with all the wave action going on, but so much optimization just on clip distances alone that will be coming in. Can we see the bridges on the water, or does he have them? But that's a crucial thing on a 16x map, is to make sure you're not drawing in a ton of objects all across the map at once. And that's why when you're looking across the map, it's tougher. It's looking across the whole thing. So I'll knock those back to 400. You'll be able to see the water as soon as you get up to the edge of it. But from far away, it will disappear. Now, these mountains on the outside are all set to maximum. You can see every single mountain piece all the way around the map, and they're 1,000 triangles a piece, and there's probably a couple hundred of them. Well, there's almost 2,000 triangles on that one. There's a whole mess of them, and I can put in, if they really become a difference, we might have to do a different edge, or just take them out altogether, or do something that has fewer triangles around the edge. I like the looks of them. They still have to be worked on, or try to stretch them out a little bit more, but they're gonna be drawing in, and we could cut them back as well. Try to make them fewer. So tons of little optimizations that will take place. Much later on, we'll get more of them done. Let's save it up. I want to see how much if we got any frame rates just from the water. I got a Rudolph. It's a smaller one, but it's a Rudolph with its shiny red nose. You like the Air 9 man says he loves the PV 3.6 with the seasons mod and a change with the birch and the maple. You think it looks like a new map? I agree. I think that that is pretty. The bringing in the other trees. Yeah, it's not as friendly with the scorpion, but when seasons are running on that thing now, and they change the seasons, even it's just pretty awesome. I really like, and that was what would we do that in a couple days of minus the errors. It really didn't take too much time to get that nailed down. Uh, and we haven't even begun. Here, let's shut down this. We haven't even begun to explore what I could do with the seasons mod for customizing the map throughout each of the different seasons. That's just the quick stuff. I mean, we can change and bring in different objects, and I might even be able to do more as time goes on. It can get even better. I would love to do some seasonal businesses if we can. It's funny thing is I'm working on this 16x map and I really could do a PV4 now with all the stuff I've learned. PV version 4 would have to be a restart, bring in the M company script set so we can start using some buyable objects and water as a fill type. And we gotta look at seeing if we can get a snow melting thing. I know I've got the link here. Haven't had time to do that, but new coal power plants and different things are now possibilities, so it could really be pretty awesome. But I'm in the middle of a huge project, so it might have to wait a little while. It's tough deciding what I want to do next. You know, look at that. We loaded up faster. That was pretty fast, wasn't it? Did I load up the right map? Yep. That went much faster for some reason. Uh, Seemed like it did anyway to me. I don't know about you guys. Maybe it's just because I'm talking too much. Orange. In honor of Viper, we're bringing in an orange truck today. Has Viper been around? I think he's streaming right now. So we're at the center of the world. I'm at 18, looking across. It's actually a little better, but yeah, still running a little low with all this equipment. And you'll see the drops as it loads in buildings. We got stuff in here, tons of stuff in here I'm not even using yet. If we look toward the closer end, you're going to get the higher frame rates. I think we're going to be better already. I feel I'm not skipping like I was. Not getting down into the 9s anymore. And that was just the water planes. Let's go. Yeah, he grabbed the. Was mine a 458? I was happy with the 458. It was pretty. But yeah, he had to go get a bigger one. It's okay. It's all good. I'm happy with having a Rudolph in my lodge. I didn't know that there was that many of them out there. So all these buildings that we're loading in here, this is the stuff that's got to be limited. Uh, many, and it's going to be tricky to do cities, but we're going to have to use some duplicate textures throughout the houses just to reduce texture memory as we're loading into areas. But my big thing is, how can I get across there? Come on. What is there, a barrier here? Okay. As you look up the river, we can see the water just fine. It's never really out of view, and that's set to pretty low. As we bring in buildings, it's going to, we got to work out a lot of the, we're going to start looking into how many triangles different pieces have. Definitely going to be an optimization trick for a 16x map with this much detail. So, that's one of the reasons why I want to redo the factories. Start using some common objects across the map on the factories. Ones that we can use between several of the factories and yet still try to make the factory setups look different. We can see all of the water at the reduced clip distance, so that's not going to be an issue. But literally, I don't think it has to be much bigger. We're not flying the planes around, and if we are, then big deal. But when does the water get out of view? Right about here. We can't even see the water from the ground from here, and I have it set so you can see it all the way back to the mountain range back in the corner, all the way up to the corner of the map. So we can continue to work that stuff out. Can't even see it. Just over the edge a little bit. Road segments I still think could be dropped down. Railroad, I didn't even check the railroad, but I can see railroad pieces as well quite far in the distance. I want to be able to see them, but we don't need to have them drawing where we can't see them and they're just sucking up memory. So every piece of this is going to have to be, I'm fine, did you see, that's what we're talking about, but I am pretty fine with, and I don't think many people have an issue, but as you're looking at this farm that we're coming up on, we can see the bridge in the background, but you can see the trees on the orchard straight ahead of me just appearing right about here. That's all right. We see them drawing in. The silos on the orchard could literally be drawing in where the trees are, and how far back can we see those silos? Here, it'd be easier if I turn around and drive away. All right, not too bad. The silos disappear, they draw in first. But there are several farm pieces that, the bigger ones we want to draw in, but some of the smaller stuff. Clip distances will save tons. You could actually see right now as we're getting closer, we have the outside walls of the greenhouses. Way back here, you can see the frame, and that's kind of cool that you can see the frames the way they're set up, so you know there's greenhouses there from way back here. But the roofs aren't drawn in until we get up to here. You can see the first roof draw in, second one, third one, and yeah, you can see it happen, but very often on these maps there's little objects like the road sign that we put in there. How far away can we see a road sign? Far enough so that we can't, oh, I almost got hit. I mean, we don't need to see that road sign way back here. It just doesn't need to be seen till we get a little closer. And we'll adjust all that stuff down to where the map runs decent. Because there's a lot of trees to bring in and stuff. I'm doing good, Chill Will. Almost done here for the evening. But every single little piece of this map is going to have to be optimized to get the best performance. So clip distances literally are going to be about a good week. Another thing to remember too is texture memory. These silos are going to be coming out. Right now we have 2 different sets of silos. Once we pull these out and replace them on the farms with the other ones, then we're reducing the number of textures that need to be in the map, and less that will be sucked up into memory because we're going to be utilizing the same silos as we go through. So frame rates will pop back up, and we're good in some areas. The further we get away from that lake now, the better off we are. I'll be happy if I can run this map with everything on it with the frame rates of 20 to 30 when we're done. That would be a pretty good goal to get it going. We'll get it as best as we can, but there's a lot of landscape drawing in across, and that's definitely does eat up some memory. We got lots to cut back on. But just look at how different the landscaping changes are. I get probably another 8 to 10 frames a second once I shut down all the video equipment that's running as well. Remember, that's sucking up some of the video card. All this road needs to be fixed all the way through. But, oh no, we're going to crash. I'll go on this side. But it's going to be a pretty massive, pretty fun to drive around. I tell you, I could do this all day. It's like a raceway. All the different roads and the turns you can take. Chill Will, when I get done, I got a lot of catching up for YouTube videos, so it might take a little while because I got an 11-hour broadcast that even needs to be uploaded. But yeah, we'll get tonight's show up. I'm going to get everything up tonight, so you guys have some stuff to watch while I'm away for my vacation. It's going to be, yeah, we'll get it up there. Might take a little while because I got a whole line of them to post up, but we'll get them up there. I want to see Big Daddy. Are we working on boats yet, Big Daddy, for the river? Traveling up and down the rivers? It's gonna be pretty cool. Going to be working on this whole river side, taking out some of those mountains so we have views of the river. And we're going to change that water texture too a little bit. Get all the floating buildings out of there. That's pretty awesome. All right, I am pretty pleased with the way it's coming, but we've got a long way to go. But it's really cool to see how it's developing, and all the mountains and hills and valleys, and then we get to rebuild the factories and finish up all the farms and see what we can get in without, I mean, the shell factory needs an overhaul. As cool as I like the way it looks, it literally is a massive bunch of pieces. There are so many pieces to shell that over the years, it didn't, I think we might have to cut back a few on the Shell Factory. All the all those little things up there on the top are literally like, what did I use? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 24. There's 36 of those old BGA silos sitting up on the top of Shell with all the pipes going into them. It's literally, maybe not 36. I don't know if they go out, but there's a ton of them all the way around the edge. And yeah, all the tanks and stuff. So I love it, but we're going to try to reduce some of the graphics on this stuff. All right, folks. No boats yet. Big Daddy will work on it eventually, hopefully. And we will be back here. I'll see if I can get in tomorrow. No promises yet. I gotta be out in the morning, but by tomorrow evening, if I can get everything squared away, we'll try to get back on and do a little bit more work. If not, though, I want to thank everybody for actually making this trip a reality. And it's going to be, probably for me, a once in a lifetime although people say that when you do one, you want to keep going back. Uh, but I don't know if I could handle all the stress. So we're going to get through this one first. And then come back here and we'll fill you in on how it all went. So thanks everybody for everything. You've been great. And we'll catch you, if I don't see you tomorrow. You all have a safe, wonderful Christmas and a Happy New Year. And it's been a pleasure. So we will see you on the other side. Thanks again, and have a good evening, everybody.